Hello, everybody in video land. Hello, everybody in radio land. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is your city, your voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Across from the Meteor Crater. I can see it right across the street. And your city, your voice, live all the time on 4680Q at noon. And of course, we do tape the show. And when I say we, I mean me. I tape the show, and it's on YouTube by about 3 o'clock, and Rumble and X. All three platforms have your city, your voice from 4680Q. So, oh boy, look at this! Look at this weather. How nice it is. This is beautiful weather, considering the weather we were having before this. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. And I'm rocking my SpaceX shirt today. Zoom, zoom. And we're going to talk a little bit today about yesterday, the city council agenda. There's a couple of things I want to talk about, especially the Holdco, Niagara Falls Holding Company. I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about where all that came from and kind of a little history of it, and the $22 million that we got transferred to us. Why, where, why, how come? We're going to get into that, plus a lot of other things. So let's get started with my sponsors. We have a beautiful day out here. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, and of course, Hamel Machine Company, my three great sponsors. We love them to death, and we ask you to support them. Now, we have this weather coming, and you say, well, geez, the weather's getting nice. I want to travel. I want to go places with my kids and wife. Kids will be out of school in another 3 or 4 weeks. But what you don't want to happen is you don't want to break down on the road. That's not fun. So what do? You be proactive. You take your car to see Ken Hunter at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. And you see, Ken, check out my car for me. Make sure everything's running top notch. He's going to check your brakes. He's going to check all your systems. He's going to do the full routine on your car to make sure there's no error codes. Everything's functioning right. Your air conditioning's working. The whole shot. He's going to do it all for you. Change that oil. Get those winter tires off. Whatever you need, he's going to take care of. He'll give your car the once over with his free spring checkup. And also, if you get in a wreck, he's got a full body shop there. You take it in, and he'll send your car back to you in showroom condition. How can you beat that? Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership. You got to take your car there. You got to give Ken a call. Go to wildbillsauto.ca to see the services he offers to you, and make your appointment. Thank you for supporting our sponsors. They support the show. Don't forget to subscribe to the show. Come on, let's get more people involved. We got an election coming up in a year and 3 months. October of 2026 is the election, and we want to make sure we get everybody involved talking about the election. It seems a long way away, but it isn't. It rolls up on you faster than you can imagine, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about in this city. Just take a look around, you know what I mean. Okay, let's get into the show. I went through the city council agenda again this morning after my compadre Dave Wheeler was in here doing the city council agenda review. Of course, the council meeting begins at 4 o'clock this afternoon for the public. 2 o'clock, they go in camera, have their top secret meeting. They come out, and they probably get rocking and rolling at around 5. And then of course, we have the preliminaries and awards and everything else, which they should move somewhere else than city council meeting. But they do it anyway. At $1,600 an hour, they do it anyway. So they're going to move on. You probably see them back at around 5:30, starting to go. Okay, now I discovered an added delegation request in the agenda from John LaPena regarding his application for economic incentives for his business at 7874 Blackburn Parkway. And if I'm not mistaken, the LaPena and Company on Stanley Avenue there, the old Gerber plant, is moving out to Blackburn Parkway, which is where Blackburn Brewery is. So they're moving out that way. And there are allowances for businesses, and he's looking for some economic incentives. So he's going to come and do a delegation to the city council to ask for that. That's the one thing that looks like it was added to the schedule since yesterday, to me anyway. And also, I noticed the schedule for the municipal accommodation tax is added as a bylaw to be approved and is set for this year by a star system. And we talked a little bit about that yesterday between Dave Wheeler and I. 5 stars, $7 a night for every room. 4 stars, $6 a night for every room. 3 stars, $5. 2 stars, $4. Unrated properties that aren't giving a star award are $5. Now, this is per night per room for any of these hotels, motels. And that's whether the room is comped out or not, because the discussion yesterday was the casino doesn't think they should pay this because they're comping their rooms to people, to big players, high rollers, whales, if you want to call them that. So they don't think they should have to pay this on rooms that they're not getting any money for. And the city's saying, no. Whether you pay for them or not, or the person pays for them or not, they're being rented out, they're being used. We want our MAT, municipal accommodation tax on that. So they're sticking to that. Now, it used to be $2 a room, so it's going by a star rating system. But for 2026, the rate's going to move to a flat 4% of the room rate. So whatever the room rate is, if they're charging $300 for a room, it's $12, 4%. Right? And on 2027, it's going to go to 5% of the room rate. So this is a legal tax, and the money goes to the city for development and the promotion of tourism. So it's a legal tax. It has to be paid. And I know a couple of meetings ago, Doug Burrell, the little weasel from the Niagara Hotel Association, was in there arguing with the city about the bylaw, and he has nothing to do with that. That's a different show. They should have told him to sit down, but they let him go on for an hour, wasted another $1,600 of taxpayer dollars when they should have told him to sit down. But anyway, that's that. And that's the only other things that I saw that changed since our show yesterday. If you want to wrap up, you can go to yesterday's show on YouTube, X, Rumble, and you can see the video. Viewer comments on interesting item posted by JRB regarding, that's John Ringo Beam, by the way, regarding Holdco and a dividend declared to the city of Niagara Falls, which is wholly owned by the city of Niagara Falls. Now, we're going to get into that in a minute, but I've got to get to my viewer comments, what did I do with my viewer comments? I had them in here. Did I lose my viewer comments? Oh, no, I might have. Yeah, I did. Okay, I don't have them. I'm going to do them next week when I get on Monday. Manic Monday, I'll do the viewer comments. There's only 2 of them, so we'll get right on to this JRB, John Ringo Beam, regarding Holdco and a dividend declared to the city of Niagara Falls via the Niagara Falls Holding Company, which is wholly owned by the city of Niagara Falls for Niagara Peninsula Energy. So we, the people, us taxpayers, own the Niagara Falls Holding Company. Now, I'm going to get into this, and it's a big, intricate web. We're going down the rabbit hole here, and it's a big, intricate web, so you got to follow along closely because it's very, very complicated. And we're going to go through. But apparently, the Niagara Falls Holding Company declared a $22 million dividend payable to the city of Niagara Falls. Now, city of Niagara Falls is us, the taxpayer. Year ended December 31st, 2024. So we got that $22 million. Now, we got to get some facts straight before we can figure this all out and try to understand the tangled and very confusing web here. And there's a lot of dynamics being played out here. I don't know where the money's going. We don't know who got the money, where it went, or where it's going. There's other monies involved. Who knows what was going on? But it's a big, big bucket of fish. Now, the Niagara Falls Hydro or a Holding Company Board of Directors includes Niagara Falls CAO Jason Burgess as president and president and CEO, along with 10 other board members. Burgess is also secretary to the board of Spark Niagara. And this is where it really gets complicated. Spark Niagara refers to several related entities, one being a physical space that provides resources and support for entrepreneurs called the Innovation Hub. So this is all going to tie in. I call the Innovation Hub the Jim Diodati Make Work program for friends, because that's what it seems to be. It's owned by the taxpayers, us, of course, and supported by it to the tune of $700,000 of our tax dollars every year. And I don't know if it's more than that. That's what they asked for at City Council. But like I say, the dynamics here, we can't be sure how much without an audit. The original Spark Niagara was involved in a fraudulent use of provincial monies and at one point was connected to the Ryerson University. In the fall of 2019, Spark Niagara, along with the city of Niagara Falls and Ryerson University, received nearly $3 million from FedDev Ontario to establish the Niagara Falls Ryerson Innovation Hub, which was allegedly abused by the CIO and others. Now, Spark Niagara, now this is back in around 2018 or so, was named in a $4.2 million lawsuit filed by the District School Board of Niagara, claiming that millions of dollars were improperly redirected from the District School Board of Niagara to businesses that financially benefited the former CIO, Dino Miel, along with his wife, Peggy, and several associates, Alex Hagepan, Dave Robitaille, and Dave D'Angelo, all of which were named in this lawsuit. The claim against D'Angelo was dropped after it was filed. He had no knowledge or involvement. The investigation seems to be ongoing, but an outside forensic audit showed the school board suffered losses in excess of $2.24 million as a result of the alleged schemes launched by Miel. And it was through a network of fake companies and invoices billing for goods and services. Now, searching through all this, the latest I could find is that it appears to be settled. The settlement was reached without restitution being made after Miel admitted to stealing more than $1.2 million from the DSBN over the course of 16 years as he was the CAO of the board. He pleaded guilty to fraud over $5,000, and this was his part of the Spark fraud. And it said that Miel reimbursed the school board $1.7 million as part of a civil lawsuit settlement. Fraud charges against his wife, Peggy Miel, and Hagopian were dropped. Oh, it gets better. It gets better. It goes deeper. The cases against Spark Innovation Incorporated, Spark Enterprises, were also named in the civil suit and settled without restitution being made. Who else was involved from the city of Niagara Falls? We'll never know. We'll never know if anyone at all was in on this. Miel looks like he took the fall. And this right here is why I question every year when we give the Innovation Hub $700,000 of taxpayer dollars. I question it every year without even seeing their books. They do not present their books. They ask for $700,000 and City Council gives it to them without looking at their books to see what they're doing with it. And there's a lot of people connected to City Hall and the mayor who are employed by the Spark Innovation or the Innovation Hub. It used to be called the Spark Innovation Hub. They just got jobs there. I don't know how many. I don't know their connection, other than the one who was the campaign manager for Jim Diodati. Now, somehow Holdco, the Niagara Falls Holding Company, has a hand in this. They have provided financial support to the Niagara Falls Innovation Hub as well. Niagara Falls City Council has approved increased dividends from the hydro company owned by the taxpayers to support the incubator. And just on an aside, if you see, if you hear the noise of those jets, there's two Talons flying around. They're training jets flying around. I don't know where they're from, but they're skirting around the city if you want to look up. So this is a big tangled web. Now, Niagara Peninsula Energy is jointly owned by the Niagara Falls Holding Company, Holdco, and the Peninsula West Power Incorporated. Now, Peninsula West Power Incorporated is in turn jointly owned by the town of Lincoln, the town of Pelham, and the township of West Lincoln. So have you got all that? This is the big web that was woven here. So the Niagara Falls Holding Company is owned by the city of Niagara Falls. And Holdco, which is the company that holds the Niagara Peninsula Energy, is owned by Niagara Falls Holding Company, Peninsula West Power, and Peninsula West Power is jointly owned by Town of Lincoln, Town of Pelham, and the Township of West Lincoln. You don't think it's intricate, and it's hard to follow the money. Onward. Niagara Peninsula Energy has board members as well, made up of the city councilors of Niagara Falls. The councilor board members get paid about $4,500 a year to sit on the board. So now we have the logistics straightened out. We move on to the point at hand, the sale of Niagara Regional Broadband Network, which was owned by the Niagara Falls Holding Company, jointly with Niagara on the Lake, to Cogeco in February of 2024. Yeah, that's where we started. So you see the intricate web here. And please, anybody out there, if I'm wrong, please correct me. If I have something wrong here, please correct me. This is just what I've looked up and tried to figure out. John Ringo Beam probably knows more about it than I do. But if I'm wrong here, please, please, please correct me. So who owned Niagara Regional Broadband Network? Well, it was jointly owned by Niagara Falls Hydro Holding Corporation, 75%, and Energy Service Niagara Incorporated, 25%. And then sold to Cogeco in February 2024. So Niagara Falls Holding Company obviously is owned by Niagara Falls. And ESN, the Energy Service Niagara, is owned by the town of Niagara on the Lake. Continue on. When this sale went down, the taxpayers, i.e. owners, us, were never told how much the Niagara Regional Broadband Network was sold for, and we have still not received an answer to the exact amount of the sale. We haven't been told. Imagine, shareholders of a corporation that was sold aren't told how much it was sold for. So all I have is an indication of an approximate amount that it was sold for. Because 75% and 25%, right? If we look at that number, Niagara and the Lake had got around 25%, which was around 15 million. They declared what they received, which leads us to believe Niagara Falls got 45 million. So if Niagara Falls got 45 million, a dividend was declared to the city of Niagara Falls from Holdco for 22 million. My questions are, what did they do with the money? We need to know what they did with the 22 million. We need to find out where the 23 million is, approximately, that's missing. And why did our taxes go up 4.9% when we had 22 million injected in the city of Niagara Falls? Where's our money? Why didn't we get a zero increase this year? Now that's 22 million in addition to the 20 million we're going to get from the casino. That's 42 million. In addition to the 7.5 million we're saving on transit that we don't have to pay anymore, and 1.3 million to the hospital fund we don't have to pay anymore, and on and on and on. Where's our money? And where's that 23 million from what I figure we got for it? Now, are these numbers correct? As much as I can figure out, yes, they are correct. And there's Peterson. He's giving me the voodoo. Okay, so where's our money? Where's our money? And here's the problem. Nobody knows, and they won't tell us. So all we can do is make educated guesses at it. And like I say, they may be wrong. I don't know. Nobody knows. And if they are, they're not talking. We need a whistleblower in the city council, city hall. But anyway, What did our council do with this money? Did they squander it on items like a $17 million walking trail that we don't need? More staff? Jason Bridges loves to hire 57 people he hired in the last 2 years. I mean, where'd our money go? We sure haven't seen any improvements around the city to see it was spent on infrastructure. We're still in the hole for a lot of stuff. There's things that need to be fixed. It's a mess, this city. And I've maintained over the last 3 years that the city has a lot of money. There's no need to raise taxes. Zero increases we should have got for the last 3 or 4 years at least. As a matter of fact, I estimate that around $80 million are floating around. Between the Niagara Regional Broadband Network sale, casino money, savings from transferring of the Niagara Transit to the region, along with other monies, yet our taxes go up 25% over the last 4 years. It's time for someone to order an audit of the city by a third party to find out exactly where all this money is and where it's going, where it's being held. It's somewhere. We just don't know where, and they're not spending it on the taxpayers, that's for sure. And I would advise anybody who's running for mayor to make a promise for an audit of this friggin' city. Where's our money? You want to run for mayor? Promise the people a forensic audit. We need to know. We need Doge. We need to go to each department and find out what's going on because we don't know. The situation is bad in Niagara Falls, and look at it. It's a mess. I look out this window every day and it makes me sick. Now, we give almost $1 million to the Innovation Hub, and they don't even show us their books. How is that possible? How is this possible? I mean, there's too much taxpayer money being moved around. It's being shuffled between this company and that company, the other company. They want to start a real estate company to develop places like the Meteor Crater. They want to start that. Another place to hide stuff and shuffle it around so we can't figure it out. And we're never going to figure it out now. We need experts to figure it out, and we need a whistleblower in City Hall to tell us what the hell is going on. And we're probably not going to see that now neither. Now, one more thing I found out today. Never fear, crime pays. Now, this Dino Miel guy and his wife, who were involved in that affair of fraud with the District Niagara School Board and the Spark Innovation, and the $3 million they got from FedDev, him and his wife now run a company on Queen Street called Catapult Consulting Services. And get this, included in their services are financial services, financial advice. Are you kidding me? These guys, well, they know how to do it. They've defrauded the District Niagara School Board for 1.7 million or something, 2.4 million or some crazy. They know how to do it, that's for sure. Now, how about that? Hiding in plain sight, right over here on Queen Street. Does everybody know that? I don't know. I bet you they don't. I know City Council does. I'll guarantee you that. They're hiding in plain sight right downtown after this scandal, this fraud. Are they getting money from the city? Are they getting dollars from the city? We're involved with the Innovation Hub after pilfering it of $3 million or so. Who knows? Like I said, the rabbit hole goes deep. The web is huge. We'll never figure it out. Never figure it out. It's almost impossible for us taxpayers to figure out, but I guarantee you this is a bucket of fish. And I don't know how we get to the bottom of it without some kind of an audit. I don't know how we get to the bottom of it without a whistleblower or some kind of an investigation from the OPP or something. I don't know. There's got to be somebody bigger than City Council that'll look into this. But who knows where this leads to? We don't know. I mean, obviously, there's something big because nobody's looked into this. You think somebody would be saying, wait a minute, how can a guy who pilfered $2.5–3 million be involved with financial services? Right here, right on Queen Street, hiding in plain sight, you call that. Interesting. So, we finished with that. It's a big web. I don't know how we figure it all out. I really don't. It's almost impossible, it seems to me. Okay, moving on. Let's go to my second sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. You know, you want a pizza. I always want a pizza. I guarantee tomorrow night I'm getting a pizza. And where am I going to get it? Victoria Avenue, Pete's Pizza. Why? Because they're consistent, consistently good. I know what I'm getting when I get a pizza from there. They use the Mancini family recipe for sauce. They use the Mancini family recipe for crust. They know how to put the right ratio of sauce to cheese on the pizza. And that is so important. I had a pizza somewhere else and there was a problem with the ratio. And that somebody said, "What's the sauce taste like?" I couldn't tell them. I didn't know. I couldn't taste it. They didn't put enough sauce on. That ratio is important. Plus fresh toppings. But they're not a one-trick pony down there in Victoria Avenue at Pete's Pizza. They have great wings, steak and cheese poutine, regular poutine, panzerotti. They do it all there. You're not going to go hungry. Believe me, whether you like pizza or not, doesn't matter. Their menu is there to satisfy you. Give them a call today, 905 374 2222. Talk to Mike or Rex. Tell them Paul from your city, your voice sent you. You can also go to their website, Pete'sPizzaVictoria.ca, to order a pizza, or they use the regular services, Dine and Dash or whatever the heck it's called, Skip the Dishes, whatever. Support our sponsors. They support the show. They support the city. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your support of the show and our sponsors. Okay, seriously here. Canadians, they're screwy. Screwballs, all of them. The Niagara Regional Police is halting unnecessary travel to the United States. All trips for conferences have been suspended, apparently because of the political instability and tariff impacts. Seriously, are these guys wacky or what? As Canada tries to tighten up their borders and remove criminal gangs from the country, sharing of information is paramount. Finding new ways to deal with these gangs and who they are is paramount. Basically, intelligence, the ability to get information from other police forces in the United States who are dealing with this on a way bigger level than we are, is unbelievably important. And these clowns are deciding to go elbows up. I'm telling you, they're screwballs. Criminal activity in Canada by gangs is at epidemic levels. We see shootings every day, stabbings every day. We see targeted killings every day in the news. And a lot of the weapons used and criminals doing the killing are from the U.S. or have some involvement with Canadian and U.S. authorities at the border. Why would the police not want to go down there for any kind of stuff? Find out things. I think it's important they do. Our law enforcement officials at every level, either it's the border, local police, OPP, RCMP, whatever the force, has to know what's going on in the criminal world. And a lot of it stems out of the United States. We know guns are smuggled over. We know criminal gangs are alive and well in Canada. I think it's more important for them to collaborate with their American peers and share information while building relationships that are going to pay dividends down the road. And the dividend is crime is going to go down. Tighten up the borders, get our police involved, get them the intelligence they need to take care of these guys, and make our judges and courts tougher on crime. I mean, really, playing that elbow up game, I mean, these people are truly backward. They're a bunch of hicks compared to the U.S. authorities. I mean, Tom Homan is running ice, and he's clearing these guys out by the thousands. We need to follow suit. I mean, this is what that elbows up arrogance gets you. A big nothing, but more criminals wandering around the country and the police not having the intelligence to pick them up and to deal with them. I mean, seriously, police forces, do not do this. Do not use the elbow up nonsense and stay away. We need this intelligence. We need this battle crime in Canada. A lot of it stems from the United States. and we got to solve it. You're not going to solve it by boycotting meetings and conferences with the United States police who can help us out directly. I mean, Trump, one of the reasons he put tariffs on was because we weren't taking care of our own borders. We weren't taking care of our fentanyl problem. Why would they do this? I don't know. It just sounds stupid to me. And speaking of police, it appears that a 13.9% increase to their 2025 budget of $213 million is in the works. And not only 213 million do they get, they also get another 3.5 million from Niagara Falls on top of what we pay them, and we pay the lion's share as it is. We pay the lion's share as it is because at the end of the day, we pay them a percentage of the casino money. 18% is what Jason Burgess negotiated, which was a very bad negotiation, by the way. We were paying less than that before. He jimmied himself up. 18% of what we get goes to the Niagara Regional Police, even though we pay the lion's share of the $213 million budget they have, and they're patrolling our streets anyway. They put the cop shop a mile from the casino over here. Why are we paying them $3.5 million a year? Nobody can answer that question. And it doesn't seem city council's concerned because nobody tells them, forget about it. We're not doing it. So I don't get it. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but hey, we still pay it. I don't know why. But they want another 1.27 million on top of their $213 million budget because they're going to have a budget deficit this year. And they're going to go to the taxpayers for the money. And it makes me laugh. They're going to go to the Niagara region for money, or i.e. the taxpayers. The Niagara region's broke. They don't have any money neither. They've got nothing to give. Taxpayers have nothing to give. Nobody has anything to give. I never heard once them saying we're going to cut expenses to make sure we have the 1.27 million. Nobody ever says that. Not here, not at city council, not at the region, not at the province, not at the federal level. Now, how about using the revenue from those speed and red light cameras? How about that to supplement your income rather than putting the arm on taxpayers? They generate 20 million or more a year. How much do they want from us? The asset manager director for the Niagara Regional Police was crying about the money from casino revenue dropping by 500,000 this year. How about this? How about dropping it all? Drop it from 3.4 million to zero. And you do your job around the casino with the $213 million that taxpayers give you already. And don't make no mistake, the bigger cities pay more, and between us and St. Catharines, we pay the lion's share of that $213 million. I mean, there comes a time when taxpayers just get sick and tired of these departments overspending and coming in with their handout, not even 6 months into their budget. We really need a Doge for police and fire departments. There's no doubt about it. And to look into the other departments at this city and the region. Thanks to Alan Benner of the St. Catharines Standard for both these great stories. And you know what? We're getting tapped. We're getting tapped, everybody. We're getting tapped. Never ends. Never ends. No shame. Take until they stop giving. That's their motto. We'll just keep taking until they stop giving. Stay in the region. I have talked a lot of times about how taxpayers have to get ready for substantial increases in taxes, especially with the region. And as John Ringo Beam continually says, the region is broke. Well, it's obvious they are, and he says it. He's been saying it for a long time. Hang on to your wallets. I just talked about the Niagara Regional Police being 1.3 million over budget, wanting to zap the taxpayers for more. Well, wait until you get a load of these preliminary 2026 budget numbers. Do you have your puke bucket ready? Here's what we're looking at, and it isn't pretty. General tax levy increase, 10.14%. Water wastewater increase 9.24%, and that could be a very generous estimate because we know the infrastructure is decrepit, and we have the South Niagara $400 million plant to build, probably $800 million by the time they get going and get it ready, and we have no money. So you could see that the wastewater increase could be 20%, and it might be for the next 30 years. 9% for transit, biggest disaster ever for the city, more than doubling our costs since it was transferred to the region in January the 1st, 2023. We got hoodwinked, and we got it bad. It was supposed to be revenue neutral. Here, take all our buses, take all our equipment, take everything. Now you run it. We were paying $7.5 million before. Now we don't have to pay that. We can put it aside. No, we're paying double. We're paying double. Oh, it may not be on your tax bill because now it's coming from the region. It's on their tax bill. But where you're getting hit. You're getting hit. And 13.34 for the Niagara Regional Police. I mean, seriously, I can't even imagine what the increase is going to be next year for the region. Huge, Buffalo, huge. They're already over $1 billion, their budget, I think. It'll probably be about 1.5, 1.3 or 5, I don't know. It's just, we're just so bad off, and we're not getting any money, and we can't build that Welland River, the waste treatment plant in South Niagara. There's no money for it. The province is broke. They can't kick in. The tax levies over the last 3 years have been 9.6%, 7.2%, and 7.5%. So it's not like we haven't been getting tweaked. We've been getting no breaks from the region. And a lot of it they're blaming on the Hergy COVID hoax. But we're going to get hit harder than ever by the region and by the city as well. It's a double ender, hitting you without lube. We're not getting lubed up when they hammer us with a double ender. Councillor Bob Gale, the only councillor with any sense, it appears, has said he wants to cap it at 3.5% and have the region live within its means. Oh, common sense. How about that, Bob Gale? Common sense governance. If there ever were a need for Doge, the region is it. It's time to end the fraud, waste, and abuse. We got to find it and end it. And I can guarantee there are tens of millions of dollars of savings. If we had someone went in there and started to audit each department, seriously, folks, we can't do this anymore. We're getting hammered, and nobody is interested in saying anything about it or even seems to care, save Bob Gale. What I would love to see is a bylaw passed by the city and region that for every dollar of increase, every time they want to increase the budget, you want to increase it by 10 million, you have to find $10 million of efficiency. It won't be coming out of taxpayer dollars. If you want 10 million more, you find it in efficiencies. You find your own money. I mean, it's pretty simple, really. You find your money. It's easy to give and give when the taxpayers are funding this bill. Now you fund your own bills by saving money in your department. That's not so easy, but if taxpayers want to break, that's the way it's going to have to be done. We just can't take it anymore. Can't afford the region anymore. And that's a fact. And they're talking about amalgamation and getting rid of all these politicians and all that, and the duplication in services. I don't know if it's going to happen. It can't come soon enough because we got to do something. This is ridiculous. We can't be on the hook for all this money all the time. Thanks to Bill Sawchuk from the Standard for this great article. Look it up. Go to the review. Look it up. It's all there. It's all there. Now let's head over to Niagara College for a moment and a headline in the review. Here's the headline. Niagara College uses $14 million in reserves and cuts 29 jobs to balance the budget. Whew, how nice is that? It also dropped the college's non-salary expenditures by 49% and also proposed a 12% drop in salaries and benefits over the year. That's how you find efficiencies. Niagara College has been hit hard by the government's policy changes on international student programs and postgraduate work permit programs, limiting the number of international students, which in return causes a loss of revenue. And we're seeing that all over because these colleges and these University of Niagara Falls institutions that are private are turning into diploma mills. Some have already, they're there because of that reason. And what happens is that these people come over here from other countries to go to school and they never go. They never go. They pay a lot of money and they never go. You can't blame the feds. The abuse of student visas is running rampant. 50,000 student visas that were issued never showed up for one class. So they were issued in good faith for people to come here. They never showed up for a class. They couldn't care less about going to school here. They want to get into the country. Then they want to bring their families in. 20,000 of them were from India. There's 1.2 million visas, temporary visas that were expired, and these people have never left the country. Nobody knows who they are or where they are. They're still floating around illegally at this point. And nobody can account for any of them. The visa that never went to class or the visas that expired. Colleges like University of Niagara Falls are what we call diploma mills, and courses use the strict immigration rules by way of student visas. So they take these courses that make no sense. Management, AI management courses. And it's reality. It's a reality. Of course, there are legit institutions like Niagara College out there, and they are affected by these diploma mills. One thing is for sure, Niagara College is finding efficiencies to deal with their deficits, and that's what has to be done. Unlike the city and region that just feed on the taxpayers to deal with their wasteful spending and incompetence. They all feed on the taxpayer dime when whether they are needed or not. They might not need taxpayer money, but they look for it anyway. And nobody bothers to look for efficiencies when you have suckers that'll pay the way without a peep out of them. And that's basically what's going on. So Niagara College finding efficiencies, using the reserves to cover their deficits, and then giving people pay cuts. And that's the way it has to go. And there's going to be a lot of colleges doing the same thing. I think McMaster's broke. They're broke because of this. So they're going to have to find a way. They're going to have to find their way through it because taxpayers cannot fund it anymore. It's impossible. We're getting hit too far from all sides, too high, too much. We can't do it anymore. Interesting story from Niagara College. Thanks to Victoria Nicolau of the St. Catharines Standard for the great article. Now, speaking of colleges, and here's a good news story about colleges. And we're going to talk about Cappa College, formerly located in St. Catharines, and now are locating in Fort Erie. They're known for the training in hairstyling and aesthetics programs. So let me get to that after I get to my third sponsor, Hamel Machine Company. And we talked about this yesterday between Dave Wheeler and I, how important machine companies are to industry in a city. As a matter of fact, a lot of industries go to a city where there are machine companies, machine shops that can help them work with their equipment and that kind of thing. Because when a piece of equipment goes down, these companies do not have time to send out for new parts, maybe to Germany, maybe for China, maybe to Taiwan, wherever they're built, Vietnam. They don't have time. So what they do is they take the broken part or broken piece of machinery to a machine shop like Hamel Machine Company, and they get them to fix it. Now, Hamel's doesn't only fix the part. If they can't fix it, they can re-engineer it, reverse engineer it. They also look for ways to make it more efficient, to make it run better for the company. Time is money. Saving time is saving money. They also do that. They're very innovative. They have graphic designers. They have engineers. They have electrical engineers. They can work on anything. And they've found many, many ways to make companies more efficient when they've repaired or re-engineered their equipment. Hamel Machine Company, they're not just for industry, though. They work with the city of Niagara Falls repairing their equipment. They work with the region. They work with Rich's Products to develop innovative new pieces of equipment. They send their parts all over the world, but they'll deal with you too. You need something done around the house in metal, fabricated. They have 3D printers, water jet cutters. They can do it all. Hamel Machine Company, unbelievable, so necessary in Niagara Falls. Been here since 1948. If you need anything done, give Hamel Machine Company a call. Tell them Paul from Your City Your Voice sent you. We thank you for supporting our sponsors and supporting the show. And all three of my sponsors have kicked in sponsorship money for the Rick Rose event we're having June 7th at Taps Brew House. And they are supporting the event. They support events in the city. They support the city. God bless them, and please support them. So, Cappa College, known for the training in hairstyling and aesthetic programs. They're hanging a new shingle out in Fort Erie, rebranding and expanding its offerings to include industrial trades. And that's something that we really need in this city. And we talked about it yesterday, Dave Wheeler and I, about this 1.5 million houses that need to be built by 2031, according to Bill 23, regarding more houses faster. You cannot build that many houses, no matter how much money you throw at it, without the tradespeople. That's the bottom line. If you don't have the carpenters and the masons and the drywallers and the HVAC people, if you don't have plumbers and electricians, you can't get this done. So Cappa is giving the ability or the chance to people who want to get into trades to go to their school for apprenticeship programs. And not everybody who wants to go to school wants to be a computer engineer or a doctor, a lawyer, an Indian chief. They don't want to be that. They want to trade. Trades pay good today. They've proven to be an excellent vocation that combine mechanical knowledge melded with high tech today to create jobs not only needed, but being compensated by it like never before. The grunt work is gone. A lot of it is tech now. It's more technical. The mechanic are now technicians and well paid for their knowledge. In September of this year, the college will offer courses in welding and CNC tool making. Apprenticeship programs in plumbing and electrical work were also in the works for 2026, pending government approval. The college will focus on hands-on learning, which Cappa College says will outperform provincial benchmarks. The college is designated for domestic students and is recognized under the Ontario Student Association assistance program, meaning the students will be able to get financial assistance. Just fantastic. So sorely needed. When we were kids, there was a tech course at school, and then they opened Lord Elgin, where kids that really didn't want to get into the arts and sciences courses, they could go in and learn a trade and be working with a tradesperson who ran the course. It was a great idea. At the time, it wasn't like it is today. Now we really need these guys, and we need colleges that take care of this. And Cappa College is going to be one of them. Anybody who's looking to move away from a computer desk and do hands-on work should take up a trade. It's an overwhelming need for tradespeople, and this is a fantastic thing Cappa College is doing. Congratulations to them. My question is, why didn't this school move to Niagara Falls? We got lots of buildings. We got lots of land. Why didn't they come to Niagara Falls? Why Fort Erie? Instead, we get the diploma mill, University of Niagara Falls. Fort Erie has a real school, Cappa College. Congratulations to Fort Erie, Cappa College, teaming up to fulfill the necessary demand not only by the region but by the province. This is all good news for Fort Erie and for the Niagara region in general. Thanks to Rose Lamberti for the great article. Oh, my goodness. Had lots of stuff going on. Posties. Well, they can't decide if they're punched or bored. To strike or not to strike? That is the question. Whether it is nobler to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune or to take arms against the sea of troubles and by opposing, end them. Well said, Shakespeare. You must have seen the Postie strike happening here. Is it better to strike or not to strike? That is the question. Well, we know the Posties are going the way of the dodo. It's not only possible, it's inevitable. So they really should just go to work, extend their job description for as long as they can with the reasonable demands of the Crown Corporation that is bankrupt. Yeah, Canada Post is bankrupt. They've said it. Or they're going to hasten their moves to the annals of history along with the Iceman, sorry, John Beam, the Breadman, the Milkman, and the Coalman. That's where they're headed right now. Negotiations are ongoing with CP offering some decent increases, but the Postal Union says no deal. So it continues on with the no resolution being found on the weekend. They're supposed to negotiate this weekend. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers initiated a national overtime ban with workers told to refuse any overtime. Anything over 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week? No, we're not doing it, they said. The meeting to resolve the issue lasted half an hour. That's it. Half an hour. They're out. Workers want a 19% wage increase. Okay. That isn't going to happen. Now, Canada Post wants to cut door-to-door delivery completely and offer delivery service once a week to super mailboxes. And that's probably what they need to solve their bankruptcy situation. Let's face it, it's over. Whatever they can get, they should take, just because the plan to get rid of them completely in the next 10 years is ongoing. I mean, they might not last 10 years. Canada Post has lost $3.8 billion. $3.8 billion. And when they say lose, that means we pay. And they lost $803 million in the first 9 months of 2024. Seriously, folks. Can't go on this way. The writing's on the wall. Residents have already found ways around Canada Post, and they're using them as we speak. It's over. It's over. And the best line, of course, was the line, I didn't even know they were on strike until I didn't receive my Kentucky Fried Chicken coupons. The best line. Let's see if they go again. I don't know. It's a no-win situation for them. They're not gonna survive. Canada Post is not going to survive. Maybe their parcel business will. They're still competing with bigger places like Amazon and the other one, Telecom, and everything else. But I mean, as far as Pure Later goes, that might stick around. But the letter carriers, their days are over. They're numbered. Okay, let's move over to the Middle East, where these crazy Houthis are at it again. Just Sunday, they fired a missile at Israel, which was intercepted, of course. But that doesn't diminish the fact they are still causing trouble in the region. Now, the U.S. is getting impatient with the whole Israel-Iran affair and has issued dire warnings to everybody involved to get this thing settled, especially pointing fingers at Iran to cease and desist and call their dogs off. For the most part, Israel has Hamas under control. The Houthis have stopped attacking ships in the Red Sea, and the Suez Canal is expected to be open and operating in late 2025. Hezbollah, for the most part, is quiet. The area has definitely calmed down a bit, but these Houthis, they're still continuing to harass Israel, and they're going to say they're going to until they quit bombing Gaza. After the U.S. bombed the hell out of them, they stopped attacking the U.S., but they don't have the same attitude towards attacking Iran. Stay tuned for this one, as Iran backed out of talks with the U.S. regarding their nuclear weapons program and monitoring it and sanctions. But something has to give in this thing at some point. Could be attacks on their enrichment sites and nuclear weapon sites by Israel. Something's going to give. Something's got to give over there. But the United States has calmed the Houthis down, and Hezbollah and Hamas are not really a factor anymore. Iran's still backing them, so that's the big problem. Now over to the Ukraine. I mean, this is getting crazier by the minute. They're supposed to be having peace negotiations and ceasefires, but the Ukrainians shot missiles at Putin's helicopter, and they're calling it an assassination attempt. I don't know if it was or not. But in retaliation, Russia lobbed 355 drones at Kiev and other areas and 9 cruise missiles. Now Trump he's had it. He's PO'd. He said they did this in the middle of peace talks. Putin has gone crazy, and it's becoming a nightmare. Zelensky won't give in. Putin won't give in. Zelensky keeps rubbing it. UK and Europe, they want a war with Russia. Trump's trying to end it. It's a nightmare situation. Trump is trying his best to end this, but they want war. They want to have a war. And if Trump's going to just get mad and pull out, he's going to say, well, you guys are on your own. You do what you got to do over in Europe. Listen, we got an ocean here. We got an ocean there. And we're setting up a golden dome so that you send anything over this way, we're taking it out, and you're going to really pay. So guess what? Trump might just pull out and say, you're on your own. And then Russia's going to go through Ukraine like a knife through butter, and they're going to get in a war, and NATO's going to step in, and it's going to be a big mess. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen over there. You got to stay tuned. That's another real dangerous situation there. But all these places that Trump is looking for peace, it's not working out. These places do not want to stop it. They're going to have a meeting in the Vatican to decide it, and the Pope has said, come to the Vatican, we'll meet there. But Trump can't get them together. They keep breaking any ceasefires. What a mess. What a mess that was left to Trump. He's been in office 120 days or something since January 21st, February 21st, March 21st, April 21st. We're coming on up 4 months, 120 days. That's all he's been in. And it's such a mess. And now we're going to talk about this later on, but about Biden and what they're finding out about that and everything else. It's just a nightmare that Trump inherited from these guys, all made to screw everything up. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Anyway, what are you going to do? Just got to deal with it. Now, not much Canada can do. We have no say in anything. So forget about it. Trump's got to figure their way out of this, and these guys got to cooperate with them. They got to come to an agreement. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm done here. Tomorrow, absolutely, all Habs, all show. We're going to talk about the Habs, the Laval Rocket, what's going on, a little bit of what's going on in the NHL in the playoffs. We'll talk a little bit about that, but not a lot, mostly about the Habs. And Thursday and Friday, I'm off. That's right. I'm taking a couple of days off and relaxing, rest and relaxation. It's been a long haul for the last year. So I'm taking a couple of days off. Sorry about that. You might miss the show. I don't know. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. Either way, I'm gone. I'll be back on Monday with Manic Monday. And we'll be talking about viewer comments that I forgot to put in today. I apologize to all my people who comment. We'll be talking about this Biden fiasco. There's a lot going on. There's tons to talk about. It never ends day to day. And we also have to talk about the city council meeting that goes on this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Don't forget to tune in. I'll be tuned in. See what these people are sitting around the table on Queen Street have to say tonight. There's a couple items I'm really going to be watching. And see what they have to say about them. We talked about that yesterday, and we'll watch that, and we'll get through tomorrow. Then we're out of here. We'll be back Monday, and I'll get into all of the stuff. I take notes when I'm watching, so we'll talk about any wild stuff that went on and what's going on. But either way, you'll be informed. Listen to the show. You're going to be informed of what's going on everywhere. And if you get a chance, look up that Niagara Falls Holding Company and the whole schmozzle around that. It's interesting, and you got to track it down. It's amazing, the information out there and what's been going on. And there's a lot of money that's floating around, and we don't know what's going on with it, and that's not right. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. in the studios of 4680Q. Please support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, Hamill Machine Company. They support the city. They support the show. Give them your support in return. And also, don't forget about June 7th. We'll be talking more about that next week as well. The big event that's going on for Rick Rose when they dedicate part of Queen Street to Rick Rose, a local legend, and 4680Q is planning a little event around it with live bands and giveaways, specifically a Rick Rose, a special, a guitar specially made in honor of Rick Rose, and other gift certificates and that kind of thing. You're all invited to TAPS on Saturday, June 7th at around 4 o'clock. The festivities are going to start with live bands. The dedication ceremony of the street is at 6:30. We'll be there for that. Pat Porter will be there. We're hoping to get everybody from 4680Q out, all the DJs and DJs, all the podcasters and talk show people. We hope they all come out and have a good time. And we hope to see you there. Have a great rest of the day, everyone. It's supposed to rain. Getting back into the rain. But that's okay. It's 75 degrees out. It's a beautiful day out. Enjoy yourself. Take care. God bless you all. We'll see you tomorrow. And thank you very much for tuning in and supporting our sponsors. Arrivederci. We'll see you later.